Hi, buonasera, good evening. It's your boy, Big Rich, Ndrangheta Weekly News, the only crew to bring it to you every week. Now, this week we have a little something different, not just a news article, but a little bit of more history on the Ndrangheta. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, today's episode is brought to you by Justice Tech Pros. Go subscribe to their channel, check them out, see what they're about. Dominic and the whole team over there, they're handing out really good business. You ever find yourself in a situation where you need some help, you need some knowledge, subscribe to this man's channel, listen to his videos. There's always room for more knowledge in your life. Knowledge is power, right? Let's get right down to business. Ndrangheta Weekly News. Interpretations between Ndrangheta and deviated masonry. The website is www.rivieraweb.it. Doesn't really say who wrote the article, but we will shout out the website, right? Professional business. Let's get right down to it. Regarding the interpretation between ndrangheta and deviated masonry, the 38th legislator by the Parliamentary Commission of Inquiry on the Phenomenon of the Mafia and other similar criminal association summarizes several of the concepts that emerged during a series of investigative findings, largely founded on the investigative results of investigations that took place in the province of Reggio Calabria. At the end of the 70s, minority sectors of the judiciary began to report hypotheses of hidden links between Calabrian organized crime and Freemasonry as worrying signs of a new form of insertion in the power circuits. But beyond meager and rare procedural findings, it will be necessary to wait for the season of the collaborators to have reliable confirmations. Only from 1992, and in particular in the documents of the so-called Olympia operation of the DDA of Reggio Calabria, will an organic reconstruction of these relationships come also in light of the changes that occurred at the end of the 70s within the Ndrangheta, changes that will result in light of today's knowledge, functional precisely to the formation of those relationships and those connections with a part of Masonry. It is the Commission's belief that the Calabrian masonry, which boasts an ancient and solid settlement and dates back to the dawn of Italian Risorgimento, is not as a whole a deviated masonry. In the second half of the 70s, the Ndrangheta found itself at a crossroads, either to continue being a criminal organization dedicated to extortion and kidnapping, or to make a qualitative leap and enter the circuits of power to transform itself into a mafia entrepreneur, in an independent economic and political entity capable of interacting with representatives of institutions, public administrations, parties, and offering their services in the procurement sector, in the collection of electoral consents, and so on. To do this, the Ndrangheta found itself in the need to create a new leadership extraneous to the traditional hierarchies of the locals, able to move in an unprejudiced way without the limits of the old honored society and its subculture, and especially without the traditional prohibitions established by the code of the Ndrangheta of having contacts of any kind, with the so-called contrast that it is with all strangers to the old honored society. New rules replaced while a new organizational level was born, the prerogative of the top characters who acquired the possibility of moving freely between state apparatuses, services, secrets, and submersive groups. Thus was born the saint in Santisti, are called its members, who constitute what can be called the strategic direction of the new Ndrangheta. About the saint, there are many statements by collaborators of justice. They clearly outline the new structure and the characters that would be part of it. It is good to warn that it is not easy to find certain evidence, especially in relation to the people involved, about their belonging to covered Masonic lodges. And this is because they are not only two organizations that are subject and object of secrecy and confidentiality, but also because many Calabrians have chosen to enroll in Masonic lodges based in other parts of Italy. This evidently increases the degree of impenetrability. With the Santa, the Ndrangheta opens up to compromise with the deviated powers of the institutions. The saint comes into contact with Freemasonry, or rather enters Freemasonry through compliant lodges. It would be a serious mistake to believe, however, that these references exhaust the links between the ndrangheta and the more or less deviated masonry, as if they were datable a few decades ago. For the ndrangheta, the alliance went beyond a more utilitarian relationship to become a strategic alliance through which it achieved that invisibility and impunity which, on closer inspection, represent the essential characteristics through which it obtained the current position of supremacy and diffusion. All right? So, first of all, great article. Shattered found it. Go through it again. Interpretations between ndrangheta and deviated masonry, all right? About secrecy and confidentiality. Not only do we report on ndrangheta Weekly News, but we try to give you a history of what's going on here because, for those of us that are outside of Italy, this is the only way that we can, satisfy our curiosity and all this stuff, right? All right, so good article. I want everybody to enjoy the rest of their evening. Salute, and we will talk soon.